Hello everyone and welcome to the Little Blessed Homeschool YouTube channel. If you're new and just joining us, my name is Jenna. I am a stay-at-home mom and homeschool mom of two girls, Lily, who is 9, and Lucy, who is 3, but she will be 4 in June. This video, we are going to discuss what curriculum we are currently using for the 2021-2022 school year, which is our second year of homeschooling. Thanks for joining us. So in today's video, I am going to be discussing what curriculum we are currently using for the 2021-2022 school year. We're going to start with preschool. Now, my 3-year-old is technically not really ready for preschool per se, but she's really starting to notice that her sister does schoolwork and she was really wanting to do schoolwork. So I decided to find her a preschool course book that was maybe outdated that I could just use and she could do some lessons just to help her. And you know what? At first I really didn't think it was going to do much, but she's actually learned a lot. So the book that we got was the PreK course book from The Good and the Beautiful. Now this is the old print and I got it on clearance I think last summer or maybe a little bit earlier than that. And they have come out with a new one since then. So we will be getting the new one for the new school year, but I'll discuss the new curriculum in the next video. But so this course book is actually really good. It comes with a bunch of lessons, and the lessons honestly, they honestly take 20 maybe 30 minutes depending on how well she sits and does them. We don't do a lesson every day. She only does schoolwork when she wants to, and that's just because she's 3 and I don't want to force her. So if she wants to do schoolwork that day, then we do schoolwork. And usually I actually start off the day with a doodles. It is a pre-writing for littles and it's their level 1 and she loves it. This is probably her favorite book and she's been doing a lot of doodles and then she colors in them. And I let her pick, and I am actually going to be purchasing this book again for next year because we are actually starting preschool next year for real with her. So I am going to be purchasing this exact same book again for the next year. Also that came with this preschool course book, I just bought the whole set. We did not use this year, but we are going to be using it next year. And it is Poetry for Littles. It's a cute little book, actually. It has a bunch of poetry, and then it has activities that you can do along with the poetry. She was just a little too young. I tried the first one, and she just had no interest. So, but next year we'll be doing that for sure. And then another thing that also came with it was these letter flip books. And she just wasn't really getting it. And so I just quit doing it. But they're really cute. They're little flip books and you can flip up the letters and stuff. And they come with the character next to it. We will be using these next year, but I just didn't this year because she just wasn't really into it. And then the last thing that I did with her, which was kind of on my own, and we're working our way through it, it's called My Alphabet Book. And I actually just printed this off of the internet. It was free. And it actually, it has letters and then you can color it and trace it. To be honest, I'm not really sure where I got this. I was Googling one day. I found it and I printed it. I don't even remember if I saved it. If I did save it, I will put the link down in the bottom of the description, but I'm not really sure that I know where I got it. But if you Google free printables for preschool, a lot of this stuff comes up and you can it's free to print. You just download the PDF and then you print it. And so every time in her preschool lesson that we learn a letter, and there's a couple days where you learn a certain letter, we go into her alphabet book and we complete that letter as well in here. And I will be doing this again next year. We probably won't get through all the letters because there's only like 2 months left of school, and she doesn't do school, like I said, every day. So that is preschool for my 3-year-old. Now, my 9-year-old, who is currently in the 3rd grade, we're going to start with math. So the first year in 2nd grade, I will just let you know that we started off with a whole bunch of math. and we didn't find a good one until the one that we're using now. So in another video, I will tell you what we used and what didn't work. But for this video, I'm just going to show you what we are currently using. So we are using the Good and the Beautiful math. Last year for second grade, we used their old math because they had not yet come out with the new math. This math here is new this year. And so we, the first year that we did their second level, grade 2, we liked it, but the lessons were super long. And my daughter at second grade, it was very hard for her to do the lessons. So they have simplified the lessons, and the lessons are much shorter. They get more as they get older, because we've already ordered math level 4 because I love it so much. This is probably my favorite math. And trust me when I say we tried a lot of them and a lot of them did not work for her. This one is amazing. And it also comes with a math box. Oops. A math box. Now this is for the manipulatives that she does. It comes with a little whiteboard on the back. I love this. We use this pretty much every day. A calendar, and then an array mat on the other side. And these are dry erase. And then it comes with a bunch of other stuff in here. These are our baggies from the stuff in the back of the book. But it comes with these little textiles, and then she has a measuring tape. You do a lot of measuring. Dice, you play a lot of games. And I will tell you one thing, if your kid likes games and board games, this is the math for them, because you play a lot of games. And every day my daughter comes running in, are we going to play a game in math day? And I have to look, and I hate when I have to say no, but when I have to say yes, she sits down, does her math, and has no issues. But this comes with the math book. Now, this does not come with it. This was extra, but you will need it if you're doing third grade, and it is musical multiplication. And they come in 4 books, set A through D, and then you can download the music. I downloaded it to our phone, to my phone actually, because that's how we do it every day. We like it. My daughter's having a little trouble with her multiplication, but for the most part, we love this one. This is extra, so this does not come with the book in the box. It is extra that you have to purchase. So that is math, and I will tell you, just a little sneak peek, we love this math so much that we have already purchased level 4 for next year. It is our favorite. It is amazing. All right, so let's move on to language arts. Oh wait, one more thing I wanted to say about the math is that the PDFs are free to download online. So in the book, you can write in the book and do the lessons in the book if you want to. I decided that I love this math so much that I am also going to use it for my younger child, Lucy, when she gets this old. So I did not have my older one write in the book. I decided to download the free PDF, and I print off just the lesson practice and the review activities where she writes in them. And I put those in a notebook for her, and I hole punch them and put them in a notebook. And that's where she does her math work. We do not write in the book. Now, if this is your only child, I mean, writing in the book, no big deal. You can write in the book. But I love this math so much, I decided, I mean, I'm going to try it for my younger one. If she maybe wants a different math, then we'll go from there. But I at least want to try it. So I decided not to write in the books. And then also another great thing, if you don't write in the book, is that you can give them to a consignment store, or you can try and sell them later, and it will have a much better resale value if you didn't write in the book. So that's why I don't write in it. All right, so let's move on to language arts. So again, we tried a bunch of language arts programs, and nothing compares to this one. I am just in love with this one. It is by far my favorite, but we use The Good and the Beautiful, the language arts and literature, and we absolutely love it. So the good thing about The Good and the Beautiful's language arts is it is free. It is free to download and print out at home, which is exactly what I did here. And I just hole punched it and put it in a binder. However, I will not be doing this next year. This took a huge toll on my printer, and it was not worth it. So I suggest that if you can, I mean, to purchase the printed copy is not much more than you would spend on ink anyway. I mean, I actually think it's cheaper that way to just buy the printed copy and maybe download the PDFs, like to print out if you want to keep the book, like how I do with math, where I don't have her write in the book. That's the same thing here. If you had the printed version, I wouldn't suggest writing in the book. Maybe just print out because there's like worksheets in here. Like here's an example of one of the worksheets. Maybe this is all you would print out, and maybe not in color because I printed everything in color. And also the only thing that I like about me printing it out is that it's hole punched, and I pull out the pages every day to read to my daughter and do the lessons, and I can carry them to our whiteboard, which is over here. But I won't be able to do that with the course book, so this will be interesting next year. But next year, I am purchasing the course book. I am not going to print it. It was very hard on my printer. It actually broke my printer. I had an old printer, though, so don't think that it's always going to break your printer. My printer at the time was super old. I had to buy another one after printing this curriculum. And it was also, because it's a home printer, it was very slow. It took me a week to print the entire thing. And I'll show you, because it comes with the course book. And then it also has a poem book, I Sat by the Sea, that comes with it. And then it also has a personal reader, which I also printed out and put in a binder. And like I said, I did this all in color. Stupid, shouldn't have done that. And so therefore, it's just hard. And this would be better as a book, because reading it out of a binder is not fun. And my daughter hates it. And same with this. So next year I am purchasing the printed copies, but I'm probably not going to have her write in the course book. I will save for my older one, and and resale value if they're still around then. So that is part of language arts. The other thing that we do for language arts is my daughter, this is an extra. This is not something that you have to use. It is something extra that I chose to use because my daughter has a very hard time with reading and writing. And I think that this all stemmed from, she was having problems in first grade when she was in public school anyway. And so what I did was, I honestly, The Good and the Beautiful has a great writing, has great spelling, has everything in it. But my daughter just needed a little bit more. She just wasn't getting it. So if your kid is just fine, you don't really necessarily need this. This is just an extra. We have here in North Carolina, I live in Raleigh, so this is in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have a homeschool store where you can buy curriculum. You can buy used curriculum that's on consignment, or you can buy it new. And I actually went there looking for history, which I will show you here in a minute. And I wasn't even looking for this, and I just happened to walk by this entire wall full of this curriculum, and I thought, oh, that might be a good idea. But it is called Essentials in Writing, and we are on level 3. It is amazing. If your kid is struggling with writing, I highly suggest this curriculum. My daughter started it, and she would just whine and cry, and it's not because she didn't like to write. It's because she had a really hard time with it, and she couldn't figure it out very well. So I figured that this would be easier maybe. And so after maybe like 7 or 8 lessons, I would read her the lesson, and she'd be like, I got it, Mom. I could do it. Just let me do it. And now I literally open it for her. I read the top portion to her, explain to her what she's going to do, and she goes. And we are we are not following, because we started this, by the way, right before Christmas, I believe. We are not following the schedule. They actually have in the front of the book, they have an actual schedule that you can follow if you start at the beginning of the school year. Actually, no, it's not in the book. It's actually in the teacher handbook, which you do get. You do get a teacher handbook that comes with it. And there is a syllabus in here that you can follow if you would like. We chose not to follow the syllabus just because we started it late, and so we are doing a lesson a day. And sometimes if the lesson only has 1 page or 2 pages, we might do 2 lessons a day, but for the most part, it's just 1 lesson a day. And I try to stick with 1 entire topic for the entire week. So if 1 week there's only 4 lessons for the week, I just do 4 lessons that week. I don't start a new lesson on Friday, like a new subject. It just gets too confusing for her. So I just stick with it. And then sometimes some of their lessons on like writing a paragraph was like 8 lessons long. So unfortunately, so she had to do 2 lessons a day, but usually they're like really simple lessons. Maybe, and I combine this. So she does language arts and the writing all in one sitting. And that is her entire language arts. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is history. So we actually switched our history at the beginning of the year. Actually, we started last year using the Good and the Beautiful History Year 1. My daughter was not into it. Not into it at all. And so I actually quit in last year. I said, you know what, we're just not going to use it anymore. I'm just not going to do history this year. She just wasn't into it, wasn't paying attention, didn't even care. So at the beginning of 3rd grade, I decided, let me try it again. So we tried the Good and the Beautiful Year 1, and we got through about 2 or 3 lessons, and she was just very disinterested. And so finally I said, what kind of history would you like to learn about? Maybe that's a better approach to this. And she said, I want to learn about America. I want to learn about George Washington and why he became our first president. And she goes, I want to learn about America. I don't care about what happened in the world, which hopefully she will later, but she said that she wanted to learn about America. So when I mentioned earlier that I went to the homeschool store to try and get a writing, oh, actually, no, when I got the writing, I went there looking for history. And I came up with this, and it is America's Story 1. And this is from Masterbooks. I've never used Masterbooks before. I didn't know anything about it, but I decided to go for it. And we are really enjoying it. Actually, I think I'm enjoying it more than she is, but she's actually getting into it. She's doing the lessons. Now, it comes with a teacher's guide, which has all these worksheets in it. Now, I decided to go ahead and let my daughter write in this one because this can be purchased separately on the website. So and I don't even know if Lucy's going to be interested in this type of history. So I decided that I could repurchase this if I needed to. But you can make copies, and they're already hole punched, so you can and they have easy tear. So each page is perforated so that you can just tear it out and put it in a notebook when they're done. Now, the one thing that I will say is this says up here 3rd through 6th grade. My daughter's doing okay with it, but there's a lot of stuff in here that I skip, and I just skip it because she's just not there yet. She's not at that level. So there's a lot of answer questions in here. And I have not had her do it just because, like this copy work. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate copy work. I think it's dumb. I don't like my kids to do it, so they don't do it. So like this stuff here, I skip it. I don't have them do all of the copy work. It's just not something that I want them to be doing. And then there's stuff like this that's a little above 3rd grade. And so there's a lot in here that I do skip. So I pick and choose which activities of the worksheets that I want her to do. And then right now, I read to her. The reading is at a 3rd grade level, but like I said, my daughter kind of struggles with reading a little bit. So I read them to her. But I have her sitting right next to me, so we have the book open together and we're reading kind of together. I have her follow along. And I think that's really helping her in her reading. And so for that, so we are going to continue with America's Story. There's a volume 2 and a volume 3, and we are going to continue those for 4th and 5th grade for our history. So that is history. Now, science. So this year, we decided to do some unit studies from the Good and the Beautiful Science. We started off with space. We did the space science unit study, which is here, and they actually my kids really enjoyed it. However, the lessons in this one were a little more prepared, like you had to prepare a lot for them. And sometimes life gets away from me and I just don't have time to prepare lessons all the time. So there's a lot of preparing for that one. The one we actually just finished, we finished the final lesson, the last lesson today, but we still have some work to do in the notebook. But it is birds. So we did the birds, and you can download the PDFs for all of these. They are not free, but they're cheaper if you want to download the PDFs and print them yourselves. I just purchased them because, like I said, printing broke my printer this year. So I have a new printer and I just don't want to break it. So I purchased this, and they come not bound. So just so you're aware, if you're going to order the curriculum, science curriculum, the unit studies from The Good and the Beautiful, they do not come bound. They come on this glossy cardstock, but it is not bound, and it's like just loose leaf. And so you have to hole punch it and put it into a notebook. I'm going to be honest, I don't really like that. I would rather it come in a book form, but that's just how that comes. We also got the bird watching notebook, and my kids love bird watching, so this was actually a good thing. We have a couple things that we're going to finish up on Monday that in this book, so we're not quite finished with it. And then another thing too, which I don't have in front of me, but it calls, all their unit studies call for science walls. Now I will explain this in another video, but we do homeschooling right now in our kitchen. If you see behind me, I'll go through that in another video, but that is our cabinet for all our homeschooling stuff. And then over here in the corner that you can't see is our whiteboard and some posters and stuff. And we do homeschool in our kitchen right now. We're working on a different space, but we don't have room for a science wall. So I got one of those tri-fold poster boards, and we use that. And they get to make the whole science wall. I will actually post on my Instagram a picture of that on Monday. The girls aren't quite finished with it. Also, that's a good thing to mention is that my youngest, who's in preschool, she sits with us in on most of these lessons. Sometimes she goes off and plays, but she loves them. She loves listening to me read the lessons every day. She does a really good job with that. So those are those unit studies. We are going to be starting next week. We are going to be starting marine biology. This is actually a free download on The Good and the Beautiful. You can download this one for free. I purchased it because, again, I didn't want to print it. And it comes the same way. You also have to do a science wall. It comes loose leaf. I had to hole punch and put everything in it. Now, I will say if you are going to use their science, that each lesson does require a lot of some of them require supplies that you have to purchase or have on hand before you start. So you might want to, when you're planning, you might want to go through the science and plan out like when you're going to do them, because there is some planning that goes involved with these science. I will tell you, we like these unit studies. They're good, but we are not going to continue with The Good and the Beautiful science next year. A little background on me is I have a degree in biology and chemistry. I finished my degree, but I got pregnant with Lily when I was in my senior year of college. And so I did not use my degree for what I was going for. I was going to be a conservation biologist. And I finished the degree just to get my diploma because I only had like 8 classes left to take. So I split it up into 2 semesters, but I never used it. But I do have a background in science. And so these unit studies are good, but they're not great. And so we are actually currently on the hunt for a new science unit for next year. And hopefully I find it soon so that I can maybe share it with you guys. So that is our core stuff that we do. That we do language arts and math every single day. And then we split up history and science to every other day. And then a couple extras that we do. My daughter is really into computers. If you've seen my Instagram page, she's really into coding. She's really into playing computer games, Minecraft, Roblox, all of that. So I decided that it was a good time for her to start typing. So this is a typing, and it is also from The Good and the Beautiful, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it. She just, opens and goes and does a lesson. And sometimes I just hand it to her and I say, hey, go do a lesson, save it, and I'll come and check it. She knows the correct posture. She knows where to put her fingers. Great. Second thing that we got that is extra is creative arts craft projects. My kids love doing crafts. I'm sure all kids do, but my kids especially love it. So I bought this book also, again, from The Good and the Beautiful, And we try to do at least one project in here to go with the season a month, or 2 a month. Sometimes we do 3 a month. But my girls love to. So the last thing that we did was a nature notebook. So here is the nature notebook, also from The Good and the Beautiful. Now, the nature notebook was an extra. We did all of fall, and the girls absolutely loved it. However, we didn't do winter. Winter was a little hard. We had a lot going on, a lot of homeschool stuff going on. We just didn't get to it. We might do spring, but again, we have a lot going on, so spring might not get done. In summer, we don't do formal homeschool during the summer, so this is a fun book. However, I mean, we just didn't use it as much as I thought that we would. So there goes that. So that is pretty much everything that we use in our homeschool. I will be talking about this in another video. I'm going to go through our whole homeschool day, what we do during the day, how we do it, and that'll be in a later video. But we only homeschool, core homeschooling with books, 4 days a week. 1 day a week we go to a co-op, and on the day that we go to the co-op, we don't do any other schooling, mostly because we're at that co-op from 9 a.m. until 2:30 is when we get home. So we leave about 8:30, and then we get home at 2:30. And by that time, the kids are done. Like they're just done with doing stuff. So we tend to just take the rest of the day to do what we want, and we don't really do formal school. But the good news is that the homeschool group co-op does not go. It goes 2 semesters, but it only goes for, I believe, 12 weeks. So it's not the whole semester, but I just think 5 days is a little much for my kids. So we do schoolwork, book work, 4 days a week. And then the 5th day is usually an extra day, where we can do the nature notebook if we want, or we can do the creative arts if we want. But anyway, so that is all of the curriculum that we are currently using. I will tell you that we have already purchased for next year math level 4 from The Good and the Beautiful, and I'll be going over next year's curriculum in a much later video once I gather everything I'm going to use. We are going to do the History America's Story number 2 for sure, and I have not quite figured out science yet. I'm still on the hunt for science. I will let you know what I choose. And I'm not sure. I know we're going to use the language arts course book, but like I said, my daughter needs extra help with writing and spelling. The level 4 language arts from The Good and the Beautiful comes with a writing and a spelling course book. And obviously those are free to download. The language arts is free to download from The Good and the Beautiful. So I've already downloaded it and I've looked through it, and I just don't think it's enough. I think she needs extra help. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to use the spelling and the writing workshop next year for language arts. I might get my own, and I might just use the course book. I don't know yet. Again, I'll discuss that in another video. And then we're on the hunt for some extras as well, which I'm looking into. Oh, and handwriting. So we did do handwriting from The Good and the Beautiful. I've actually already thrown it away. We did level 1 and level 2. We did not do level 3. And the reason is because my daughter's handwriting is not that great, and she needed some extra level 2. So we did level 2 twice, and she has not done cursive yet. And I just don't think she's there with her penmanship to move from print to cursive. We've been working with her a lot to get her writing to be a little bit better. So we are going to try cursive next year. I have not chosen a curriculum for the cursive yet. I'm not sure I'm going to use The Good and the Beautiful. They do have handwriting levels, I believe all the way up to 6. I'm not really, don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not going to use their handwriting. I think I'm going to search for somebody else to do the cursive, but we will see. I haven't even looked at that yet. So anyway, so this is the curriculum that we are using for the 2021-2022 school year, which is ending at the end of May. And thank you for watching. And if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're on Instagram, we're over there, and you can view more about our homeschool at Little Blessed Homeschool. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.